What is the exact moment you stopped enjoying something? In every bag of pistachios there's a magical pistachio, and after that one they don't taste good anymore. Probably around like 3-4 handfuls in, and it just all falls apart, couldn't tell you why. When the weekend warrior at my local paintball field explained that even though we shot each other simultaneously, my shot didn't count because the splatter on his leg wasn't larger than a quarter. I was out and he kept playing and eventually won. Prior to the next game, the field owner said the larger than a quarter rule has never been used at his site and all the regulars know that. What a see, you get hit and you've been hit, that's all. Those are the people I just shoot until my hopper is empty. I was younger, a lot younger, and me and my buddy were on a road trip with his mom. We stopped at a convenience store and 3 musketeers were on sale. 4 for $1. We had a $5 bill. We sat in the back seat and ate all of the chocolate off of all 20 bars. Then we proceeded to mash all of the fluffy whatever that stuff is. We mashed all 20 together into an almost volleyball sized portion of 3 musketeers goo. Then started in on that. We didn't make it. Neither did the seats in the back of the Chevy Citation or the flooring, or our clothes. I don't make eye contact with 3 musketeers anymore. This is the weirdest thing on this thread. Not exactly sure what to make of it. The moment I threw my Xbox controller at my couch and it bounced back and hit me in the face, I knew I didn't like Call of Duty anymore. I tried to explain World of Warcraft daily quests to my mom. Yeah, they're pretty tedious, but they're worth it for the golden rep. They only take an hour or 2 per day, and then I can go do something fun. I stopped and thought about what I'd said. An hour or 2 of frustrating stupid crap per day, so that I could do something fun in the game later. It was a genuine epiphany. I quit WoW that week. I remember when stuffed animals were the crap. I would wake up in the middle of the night to talk to them and feed them. I'd tell them my secrets, and they'd tell me theirs. They were my best friends. Then one day, I woke up, and they weren't as real anymore. I stopped telling them my secrets, and started telling my friends instead. I went to sleepovers without them. It's a sad day when your stuffed friends stop being real. There's a really nice Italian restaurant that my family and I always go to. The entrance is set up high so you need to climb a couple of stairs to get to the door. They also have a handicap ramp that runs out about 25-30 feet. When it was time to leave, my sister and I would always run down the ramp, back up the stairs, and back down again before we went to the car. Because we were kids, and that ramp was such a freaking exhilarating change of pace from boring old stairs. Then, one night, we stopped. I can't give an age or a year for this, but it happened. We walked out of the restaurant and, without realizing it, decided that running down that ramp wasn't fun anymore. A small part of our childhood died that evening. This sounds like a monologue of the Wonder Years. Frick, the moment I heard and felt my knee pop after decades of injury-free skiing. It took me a long time and a couple of surgeries to enjoy it once again, but I am much more reserved and stay out of the bumps and off the steeps. We all must age. Last weekend, my girlfriend and I booked skiing lessons for our imminent birthdays and 3 weeks in Whistler at the end of the year. I've never skied before. I'm 42. Since then, I've seen nothing but skiing horror stories, from people falling down crevasses, to Olympians tearing their innards out with their own skis. I feel that the universe is trying to tell me to not learn to ski. Getting to wave 46 on COD. BO zombies. I died, then it hit me that I'd have to do it all over and I lost total interest in the zombies mode. I mean, yeah, I'd play it for ages before that, but the amount of time and effort just to get to wave 46 really wasn't worth the satisfaction. Once you hit 47 though, it gets super fun. Friends, you should totally buy this game. Me, but I'm still playing this other game. Friends, no, seriously, buy this game, it's got killer multiplayer. Me, that's what you said about this game last week. Friends, buy this game. Friends, buy this game, play with us. Friends, how come you never play with us? Me, bug. Fine. Repeats week after. When I find out someone is cheating in a game, not because I lose, but how do they possibly enjoy false victory? Geez guys, I don't care how effing noble you convinced yourselves you are. Keep it to single player or private lobbies for you and your friends to beat the game devs and don't waste others' time. I played WoW since launch. Had a few breaks here and there, met some great people, ended up joining a middle of the road progression guild, hung out with them on TS Vent, good times. Find out the GM lives near me. We started hanging out in real life. He had a dog. I got a dog. We'd walk the dogs. We'd go to eat. His wife was also really freaking cool. I'd had the usual burnout phases over the years but always went back. I loved WoW. Then he died. I woke up to a text message from his wife the next day telling me, "I've tried to play WoW since, but everything I remember about that game was with him. He farmed the blades with me. We ran ICC mound runs together. He raid-led every raid for over a year. And he was gone. Part of me wants to go back, be a helpful officer in the guild he made to somehow honor him, but I literally can't deal with seeing that game without him. TLDR. Can't enjoy WoW since my friend died. You should stop by and check up on how his wife is doing." I stopped playing large-scale Magic the Gathering when I saw stereotypical fat neck but be a dong to a kid. I realized I really didn't want to spend precious free time with children and socially inept man-children. Not the same but kind of related. I used to play a lot of Warhammer 40k. One day a typical neck but just straight up lied to a kid about the rules. I called him out and it just started a big ass fight. I still paint models sometimes but I just can't play anymore. The final note of my final high school band concert. I was first chair trumpet and was pretty good for a high schooler. I loved pep band too. I had some mad solos and ad-libs in pep band. My band director picked out some very challenging pieces with a few solos for me for our final concert season. I practiced so much for that concert. I missed a couple notes out of pure exhaustion and did not even stand for my last solo, nor even play it. I couldn't. I was quite literally completely spent. My director asked me what was up after the concert, and I told him. He wasn't mad, just disappointed. I sold my trumpet the following month, and have not played a single note since. It makes me a bit sad because I feel like I had some real talent that I could have used to play in some local jazz bands or something. Now through my grown-up life, I have quite literally zero, nada, none, no interest whatsoever to play again. I wasn't pressured by anyone nor was anyone upset with me. That was it though. That was the last time, ever. I didn't enjoy it anymore. I don't even like hearing a trumpet anymore. It's very odd to me when I think about it. A lot of people won't understand that unless they have played trumpet or some other brass instruments. The fatigue is real, and not being able to hit high notes is frustrating. Capcom. When I read that I'd have to pay money for additional characters in Street Fighter X Tekken that were already on the damned disc. Burritos on tequila night when about half of one tried to come out of my nose as I was running to the bathroom as my stomach was revolting. The cheap college party tequila. And then you can't drink tequila for years without remembering that taste. The 8th of April 1986, 6 p.m. My fiancee was going to make tomato soup and grilled cheese for dinner but wanted to rest a few minutes because her back ached. It was actually a heart attack. She never woke up. I miss her dearly to this very day. I haven't had a grilled cheese or tomato soup since. R.I.P. Kim. Jesus Christ. That's rough, man. I'm truly sorry for your loss. No longer enjoying This Is for the Better, but I went through a gigallo phase as a teenager. I saw Clockwork Orange sitting on dad's bookshelf and I thought, well, I'm into all this horror stuff. Think I'll like me some of this ultra violence. And I did. Real horror show. But in the last chapter, where he finds he doesn't enjoy all the things he used to, even the music, that's when I started to feel like I should grow up. The moment I stopped going to nightclubs forever. I used to live to go out. I grew up on the border to Juarez, Mexico and started clubbing around age 15. It was the thing that made me the happiest. One day in my late 20s my friends and I go to some upscale club in Scottsdale, AZ. A few hours into it I'm bored and sitting in a really pretty seating area just chilling out and people watching. Starting to realize this is really empty experience and all these people seem pretty crappy. Having a very what do I get out of this moment with myself. Right then this gorgeous woman, hair all done, nice dress, act, just starts puking her brains out. She's giving it up like she has Ebola or some crap. In a trash can next to me right in the middle of this beautiful lounge. It flipped a switch that made me feel like I'm way over this crap. Spending $100 to go be uncomfortable, get groped, listen to crappy music and watch people get alcohol poisoning. Now I'm cool. Now I just smoke pot in my PJs and watch my boyfriend play video games. Never went to another club again and do not wish to. When Chris Benoit killed his family, I stopped enjoying wrestling. The build up to that had a bunch of wrestlers dying from various issues and that was the final straw. I still watch it from time to time, but not with the same level of enjoyment. Like most kids, I had a large collection of action figures from various fictional universes. Every day after school I would continue the epic quest of Link, Zelda, Child Anakin, Happy Meal Mulan, and Dash Render. They were always trying to unlock their secret powers by acquiring mystical stones, marbles, but were constantly foiled by Ganondorf, Ra's al Ghul, Maleficent, a member of the Swoop Gang, and several other random bad guys. One day, the heroes finally won and the villains were defeated for good. I kept trying to play with the toys after that but I couldn't devise any more plot as I felt all of the characters had fully developed. So, I put the toys away and that was that. Used to enjoy the Deadpool comics, until I went to a con and saw a bunch of Deadpool cosplayers acting like turds. Ruined him. Found Reddit while binge watching CGP Grey videos. Stopped enjoying Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is still pretty nice if you missed a day on Reddit because everything is reposted there. Now even ask Reddit. I used to be really into the idea of getting married. Not so much anymore. A few years ago, I was engaged, spoiler alert, single now, and noticed my fiancée was acting very distant. Went to her computer to find that she was talking to a dude from her dance class and meeting up with him when she said she was going to her parents' house. Turns out she never even mentioned me to him and, as far as I know, led him to believe she was single. Further digging in her search history showed things like Google Maps to his place, how to tell when a relationship is over, conversations with the guy about how to handle the whole my name situation when the guy found out I exist, etc. I felt bad for going on her computer and came clean about it during our breakup talk, but slightly less bad when I discovered that she had been snooping on my laptop just as much as me. Ever since then, the idea of getting married has become entirely unappealing to me. When Darren Brown revealed how he had levitated, the guy is so amazing that for a brief moment I thought he actually did it. Looking back I now realize it's obvious he didn't do it because it's impossible, but at the time I was really disappointed. Darren Brown was creating some really excellent content in the early 2000s. Some of his more recent specials have been absolutely crap, though. I've seen him live twice. Once in like 2006, once in 2015, and the second show was so bad I left halfway through. The college I went to had a pretty active drug culture. Many students smoked pot, a lot experimented with psychedelics, and some people even went further and tried the harder things like methamphetamine. It was actually really fun to be submerged in the culture because most people treated these experiences like alcohol or tobacco, and it was interesting to be somewhere where it was nearly legal with how ubiquitous it was. Anyway, I had two friends get deathly addicted to H and both of them irreversibly fricked up their lives. In the middle of the life fricking, I tried OxyContin, an opiate with similar effects to H, to see what the fuss was about. Immediately I understood. It was one of the greatest, warmest, most comforting feelings I've ever had. I sat in a chair, nodded out, and did nothing for hours on end. And it was way too fun. That was the exact moment where I realized that I needed to be careful and not just throw things into my body because it sounded fun. My incredibly libertarian policies on drugs changed pretty drastically that day. Opiates are the freaking devil. Ain't nothing wrong with some pot or some mushrooms, but stay far away from opiates, as far as you can. I still think about it sometimes. That's the scary part. I stopped enjoying being an emergency surgeon when I was unable to put back together the jigsaw puzzle that was an 8-year-old skull. He got into a car with his drunk father, who was uninjured. Because of that I joined Doctors Without Borders. I stopped enjoying that when a guy shoved an AK in my face. I really stopped enjoying it when I got malaria. Sounds like you've had an interesting life. I stopped enjoying Halo when they announced they were killing split screen campaign. All done with that franchise. It was a good run, but they forget what made the series popular. Finally beating that last level on Legendary with my brother and seeing the extra scene at the end was worth every second. When I was little, I preferred my pizza with less sauce than normal, until one day I had a pizza with literally no sauce at all. I ate it, but that was the day I decided that pizza sauce wasn't so bad. When Apple wouldn't let me download apps because my OS was outdated, but I couldn't update the OS because they reckoned my device was outdated. Windows is currently taunting me with the upgrade to Windows 10 button and pop-ups, despite the fact that if I click on them we both know it will immediately say my laptop can't run it, the bastards. Back when I was in college, I used to love going out and getting high with my friends. Finding a great smoke spot and looking out on an amazing view was the best, until one time, my friends and I found a hill with a great view of downtown. It was around 1 AM. We were packing a bowl and then all of a sudden heard behind us someone shout, "Stand up. Don't move." It was a police officer and I do not live in a state where weed is legal. I was able to get it off my record in court. But after that, drugs were more scary than fun. I stopped enjoying my life when 95% of it became devoted to work chores. 3+ hours a day wasted commuting in crowded mass transit, standing, so I can be at a job for what feels like forever, so I can come home and fix things. Folks, don't forget to work schedule me time in your day. When I got reading assignments in school, don't get me wrong, I still love reading and there are assigned books I enjoyed, but Jesus Christ, Holden Caulfield, stop your bitching for the love of God. Look at this guy, freaking phony. He probably doesn't even read books. I read books. Phony. I stopped enjoying soft serve ice cream after seeing Me, Myself and Irene. There's a scene where they show a dog crapping then immediately cut to chocolate ice cream coming out of the machine. On the bright side, 15 years without ice cream has done wonders for my waistline. It's actually Jim Carrey crapping on the lawn before cutting to the ice cream if I remember it right. When I puked after having eaten at least 10 chocolate granola bars, I was home alone as a 12-year-old and even though my mom instructed me to microwave leftovers, I thought chocolate granola bars were the best of both worlds and could therefore be consumed ad infinitum. Chocolate granola bar puke was the worst puke I've ever experienced. For months even seeing the Quaker Oat man would trigger retching. A while back, a friend of mine was getting kicked out of her parents' place. She had gone to college, but didn't finish. She was never really that book smart but definitely charismatic. I had just bought a place and had an extra room, so I told her she could move in until she got her feet under her. I still took rent, but it was a lot less than any other place would have taken. And I already had one friend who was renting from me, so between the two of them I was actually making money. Fast forward nearly 6 months later, I'm getting engaged with my girlfriend, and now we want the place to ourselves, or I would move out and find a new place and continue to rent out my current place. After talking with some fiscally minded people, I decided I wanted to keep the place, and so the others would have to move out. At first, they both took it very well. I told them if they needed any help to just ask, and I'd help. Next day, the friend I had offered to help out started being a total B, blaming me for every misfortune she had. I used the last of the garlic, or I was talking during a movie. Never mind, her boyfriend was the one to initiate conversation. Still, I figured, okay, she's just having a rough time. So I was trying to be chill about it. Then one day she was in the shower and I was eating breakfast. The hot water went out for a little bit, and she shouted, "Dang it, not funny," to which I responded, "I didn't do anything." The water went out again, and she again shouted, "Freaking dang it, cut it out." At that moment, I knew I never wanted to call her a friend again. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was okay with her bitching about me to her friends. I was okay with her being mad. But it was just too much. For 6 months I extended a hand helping her, lowering her rent when she was having trouble buying food, Heck, buying food for her on occasion, and this was the thanks I got for it. I hate her now, but she's friends with every single person who is my friend, so I can't out and out say it, but I absolutely hate her now. I used to love eating chicken wings. One day, while my husband went to buy some wings, I was reading no sleep. It was this story about a poor woman who didn't have arms, just the bone, like pure bone sticking out, no skin. I didn't think anything of it since nothing really grosses me out. So my husband arrives, and when I open the container, there is this really weird looking wing. It only had chicken bits at the top and then bone. Just a long piece of bone sticking out, like an arm. That was the last time I ate chicken wings. Life. When I was 16 and in the ER for what I thought was the flu. Nope. Liver cancer diagnosis. That sucked pretty bad. By 17 liver failed. Listed for transplant. Got a new one at 19 though, so that was nice. Took a year to get all the kinks worked out. Bile duct issues causing hepatic encephalopathy. Word of advice. Don't try to go to college with hepatic encephalopathy, or at least figure it out before you've failed a semester because you can't stay awake or remember anything. Now at 25 life is pretty enjoyable though. Getting married in October. Season 3, Episode 1 of Modern Family. I loved the first 2 seasons and then suddenly at the start of Season 3, I hated it. And I realized nearly every episode is built on the same foundation. Jay insults Gloria's culture. Claire Phil try to be the hip and cool parents but something goes horribly wrong. Mitch Cam have a petty fight. Nearly all being resolved by the end of the episode. I'll have this epiphany while I'm playing a certain game where I think, this is getting kind of boring. And then I think, welp, that's the thought. I'm about to lose all motivation to play this. And the next day, I always start a month-long hiatus. I stopped enjoying the song Sweet Home Alabama when the lady I knew from Iowa, who talked about the place like Texans talk about Texas, rolled into the parking lot blasting it from her minivan. I lost interest in the punk music scene when I went to a show one time dressed as I normally did at the time, wearing khakis and a polo shirt. Everyone there had mohawks and patches on their jackets and spikes and crap. Many people treated me like crap because I wasn't wearing their uniform. I realized the whole premise behind punk was horseshit and this was just another clique like everything else. I used to enjoy school. I was a quiet kid no one talked to and my goal was to stay off everyone's radar. Had straight A's, perfect attendance, all the awards, in line to be valedictorian, etc. At the end of my first semester of my senior year in high school, I was falsely accused of hacking into the administrator's accounts and changing my grades. First they yelled at me for 3 hours without my parents present. Traumatic for someone who'd never even been to the office for any sort of trouble ever. I didn't even talk to the administrators prior to this. They sent me to behavioral school with all the delinquents, drug dealers, arsonists, etc. I was allowed to come back and take my finals for the first semester, of which I did poorly on most, not being there and all. After that I didn't give a crap about school. I wanted to go to MIT. Had the grades to do it prior to this. My last semester I put in zero effort, C's and B's, ended up going to my local university and living at home. When I hit 25 and my metabolism slowed down, I realized I couldn't truly enjoy anything unhealthy. It didn't stop me, but now all my meals have a healthy side order of tears, regret, and remorse. Avid watcher of the Young Turks. Stopped after I heard their discussion on the right-wing echo chamber, which consists of pundits. They are the same thing for the left but use information rather than emotion to push their talking points. Not all information is fact and context heavily matters. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.